On the bench today we have a couple of controls here from a Technics RS-M250. This is a cassette player. This is actually quite old. These knobs are in quite poor condition, so I just want to show you what I do to fix these when they're in such bad shape. This is one I've already had a go at already, and this is what they started at. As you can see, like, these looks really bad. I was convinced that that was actually really badly pitted and would actually require replacing or renewal, but sort of going against sort of my own advice, not using anything particularly harsh, I'm going to show you this technique. It just uses a little bit of eucalyptus oil on one of these cotton buds. Just work it in, rub and rub and rub, and eventually it will start coming off. You can start seeing the dirt starting to come off there. Do need to be a little bit patient with it, but it will eventually start coming up. I've done most of the other controls on this and it's actually turned out pretty good. Reasonably pleased with the cosmetic condition after I've done that. It looks a million times better than when it started. Also pleased to report that actually I've managed to sort the mechanism out. The tape player, that when I bought it, it was listed as the heads won't go up. I did a quick bit of research before I purchased it, and most people seem to suggest that it was just the belts need replacing. And actually that turned out to be almost spot on. I bought myself a few belts, replaced them, did a bit of a test, and it seems to be working quite fine now. There were a few additional things, but I'll make a separate segment on that. But for right now I just want to show you this technique. And you know, it's not 100% perfect, but it's definitely a lot better than that. So I'll keep working on this and we'll see the result at the end. Yeah, actually you can see that's actually coming up quite well. Now, I've got to warn about this eucalyptus oil. It can actually do some, well, not great things to plastics if it's left on there for too long. It seems to be okay on this stuff, this coating or paint or whatever it is, but it is going to damage some surfaces, so be careful. Don't get it on anything rubber, and again, anything with decals, keep it away. Because once those things are gone, you know, I don't know how you're going to get them back. So can we see it there? Yeah, look at that. So you can see this side's done, this side is not, that surface is not done. So I'm just going to keep working this. I am using a moderate amount of force here. Obviously you don't want to be too harsh with anything. Let the oil do the work basically for you. I don't know if the camera picks that up as I'm doing it. It's a bit hard, I can't look in two places at once. Yeah, actually that might give you the idea better. Let me try and get into there as well, if we can. Yep. And that's where these pointed ones actually come in, you know, very handy, because you can actually get right in there. This one still needs a bit more. It is actually tempting that once these are all done and refinished, to maybe just give it a coat of clear lacquer or something. I don't think I will, but maybe if it was if I had access to my proper workshop, I might do that. Try and get that one on camera as well, because it's bad. I think it's time for a new one of those. A bit more fresh oil. Actually, I find that squeaking sound is actually a bit of a telltale that you actually got right up through what it is that you're trying to clean. It doesn't tend to make that noise while it's all so gunked up and whatever. Anyway, so there you go. Look at that. I think that's pretty good. Might need a little bit here and there once it's all dried up. Just give it a wipe with a rag. Yeah, so that's the one I did earlier. This is the one I've just done on camera. So I'll probably spend a bit more time with the first one, but anyway, I can muck around with that later. And you know, here's the control switches. I mean, these were mostly, I mean, as you'd expect, you know, play and rewind and fast forward were the most heavily utilised and the dirtiest, so yeah, it works quite well. I'm not sure, this is some kind of aluminium plate or something on there, but anyway, that worked quite nicely. So that's the end of this bit. A bit later on I'm going to put the deck on the bench and we can have a bit of a look at what's going on in there. I've already sort of raced ahead and done a fair bit of the work on that. So, okay, while we're on the subject of cleaning, this is the fascia. Quite dirty when I got it. Again, I've cleaned this up. Now this, I definitely did not use anything except just plain water on all these faces. I think if you start using anything, even the eucalyptus oil, these decals are going to disappear. And I'm actually pretty happy with this because it looks pretty good. There's no major dings in any of the corners or anything like that. It all looks good. There was some minor scratching on this front panel, this clear panel, and again, I've recommended Brasso. I can't get Brasso here, but I can get this metal polish. You probably can't get that outside of Japan, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's a very, very fine polish. It took, you know, quite a lot of work. Well, maybe you're really, really keen-eyed, you can probably see the tiny remnants of a scratch there, but it was actually quite, you know, quite long. It was basically traversing the whole face there. And anyway, that polished out. Basically just use a bit of, you know, white t-shirt material or something like that, and just, you know, being very gentle, but also careful not to actually get polish on the metal and not to rub on the metal with the polish, because, you know, you don't want to end up with some weird sort of polish there and getting through like any anodizing or anything that's on the surface of that aluminium, because that'll wreck it for sure. There were a few spots here. There was like a big brown stain, and there's still sort of a bit of, you know, you can see a bit of an outline, but the stain's gone. Everything looks pretty good and clean. This is actually a plastic insert. You can actually see on the back side this is plastic and this is aluminium. So the plastic cleaned up quite well. I might give it a bit of a go with some detergent and water, because I think there's still a little bit more that can come out of this. I mean, the rags that I used to clean this were just black. So following on from another video I did where I was talking about walkie and date codes, this one here, you can see there's a date code on this one as well. This is 551217, and as I mentioned on those walkies, the dates on the motors were 58 and 59. So 58 was 1983 and 59 was 1984. So take off 3 from 58, sorry, and you know, that gives you 1980. So this is December 17th of 1980, and that seems to match everything else. The one, I think the main motor is 1980, and there's a smaller motor there which I think was dated 1981. So this unit was assembled sometime in 1981. So that's the brief overview of this face panel and what it tells me. Next thing, we'll get the unit on the bench and we'll have a look.